Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Quality Magnify India. Myself Deepak Kumar Samal. Welcome all of you once again to my channel. I hope the videos which I uploaded earlier, you are getting benefited from that. Those videos contains all most of the chapters from API, ASME section 8, pressure vessels, welding, venting, piping, CSWIP, Bgas, auditing, NDT, all these topics will definitely help you to enhance your career. Kindly watch those videos and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This channel subscription is completely free for you, and you must subscribe to this channel to get new videos alert in future. So guys, let's start what what we understand by screw pitch. Last video I have uploaded one bolt head nomenclature in which you'll find out whatever the grade written on the bolt head, you'll find out what type of bolt it is, what is the tensile strength, what is the material type, and all these things. In this video, we'll find out what is screw pitch. When you say screw pitch, we call it as a TPI, threads per inch or tooth per inch. How many threads in 1 inch is coming? Okay. Is it same for all the bolts? Is it different? If it is different, why it is different? If I take one bolt with a certain type of TPI and the not a different type of TPI, can it fit? No, it cannot. Why? Because the TPI is different. Okay. So how it is defined and how it helpful? What are the pros and cons of that? That we'll understand from the screw pitch. So let's start. So the screw pitch usually we divide into two types, coarse thread and fine thread. What does it mean by coarse thread and what is meant by fine thread? Usually in a short form we call it UNC and UNF. What is UNC? Unified National Coarse Threads, and UNF is Unified National Fine Threads. So coarse threads and fine thread. What is the difference between that? And what the advantage and disadvantage this coarse thread and fine thread is giving to us? Okay. So here two types of bolts I've given. The area is same where the threading is going on, where the threads are given. Okay. If you see here, this is called TPI, threads per inch. In 1 inch area, how many threads are coming? It is called TPI. If less thread is coming in 1 inch of area, then it is coarse thread. That means the pitch is more. Okay, tooth to tooth distance is more. If more threads are coming in between that 1 inch of metal, then it is called fine threads. That means the pitch is less. If the pitch is less, then more threads. Pitch is high, then less thread. If it is less thread, it is a coarse thread. If it is more threads, then it is called a fine thread. So do you know which one is best? Whether a coarse thread or fine thread? Which one I have to choose? I took a bolt of fine thread. I take a knot of coarse thread. Can it fit? No, because the pitch distance is different. It cannot fit. It cannot go inside. Okay, so you need to how you will select it. Which is the purpose? What is the purpose of your use? In which area you are going to use? Accordingly, you have to choose whether a fine thread or a coarse thread. But for your knowledge, I can say you, I told you already UNC and UNF. What is UNC? Unified National Coarse Thread. UNF, Unified National Fine Thread. But I remember there is two more types of threads are also there, which is called UNEF, Unified National External Fine Thread. Unified National External Fine Thread. And there is UNS, which is called Unified Special Thread. Okay, this is Unified Special Thread. So we'll now discuss only about UNC and UNF, coarse thread and fine thread. We'll not go to external fine thread or special threads. Okay, so which one is best from coarse thread and fine thread? Unified National Coarse Thread, UNC, and Unified National Fine Thread, UNF. So a fine thread is stronger than a coarse thread. Why? Because the pitch is less. Okay, if the pitch will be less, then more threads will come. More threads will come, that means more tensile strength. This is both in tension because of the larger stress area, because the stress area will be higher, because there are more threads, so more threads will be combined with the nut. So more thread will combine with the knot means more stress area. If more the stress area, then the tension will be more. Okay, so it will give a higher tensile force and a shear force also because of their larger minor diameter. Okay, minor diameter. When we say minor diameter, the depth. Okay, the end point. I will show you in one of the thread which is minor, which is major, and which is the pitch one. Okay, in the thread I can show you in the next slides. Because of the smaller pitch, they allow finer adjustments. The pitch is less in fine threads. That's why it gives a finer adjustment in applications that needs such a feature. So coarse thread, if you see, this one is called thread height. Okay, and these are called thread planks. And thread height and thread planks in coarse thread is higher. Okay, thread height of coarse bolt is greater than the fine thread, because fine thread, the coarse, the thread height will be less. Okay, and the thread plank also, it is less compared to the fine thread. Coarse thread have large volume of material because the thread is less. If it is a if you can say like that. So in this place, if there is three threads in coarse thread, in the same place in fine thread maybe it is five. So coarse thread have larger volume of material between thread planks as compared with the fine thread. So coarse thread bolt offer good resistance to thread stripping as compared with fine threaded bolts. Now you have to understand what do we mean by stripping. Stripping, usually what happen? Stripping is a shear failure, okay, of an internal or external thread that results when the strength of the thread material is exceeded by the applied force. When the applied force exceeded the strength of the material, then it slipped. Okay, if the thread bolt uh, uh, thread if the strength of the bolt, let's say 50 MPa, and you give 60 MPa force, so what will happen? The thread will slip. Okay, the thread will pass over the pull area. Okay, if a bolt is there and not is tightened, and there is other side it is tightened, the strength of the bolt is 50 MPa and you are giving 60 MPa force. So what will happen? It will it will slip over that. Okay, so this slipping is called stripping. Okay, resistance to thread stripping compared to fine thread. So what is saying? Coarse thread bolts offer good resistance to thread stripping. Thread stripping usually happen in fine threads. Okay, but in coarse thread the stripping will be less. Okay, so that is one of the advantage of coarse thread over fine threads. Stripping, you have to remember what is stripping. I have already explained to you. Stripping, when you say stripping is internal or external thread that results when the strength of the thread material is exceeding by the applied force acting on the thread. When it exceed, okay, what is the strength? The thread material is exceeded by the applied force, then stripping will happen. I have a photo for stripping, you can easily understand. This is called strip threads. In the strip threads, what happen? Whenever a nut is there and we put some stress on that, then what is the strength of the bolt? The applied force is more than the strength of the bolt. So what happen? Is stripped. Okay, the pitch, the you see the threads, the threads got stripped. Here there is no threads. Here there are threads. In the middle there is no threads. So this is the stripping area. Okay, so this is called stripped threads. When thread engagement is short, coarse threads are preferable due to their higher stripping strength. Okay, when I say the engagement is short means this is called engagement. Okay, the thread engagement length. So if the engagement area will be short, let's say we have more engagement area, and that means more threads are working. Okay, more load is coming on some particular threads. If less threads are bearing all these loads, then we can say this thread engagement is short. If more threads are engaged for the load bearing capacity, then we can say the thread area is higher. So when the situation will come that the thread engagement is short, then coarse thread are preferable due to their higher stripping strength. As the stripping strength of the coarse thread are higher, that's why they are preferable when the engagement is short. Okay, this is another one advantage of coarse thread. Bolt with diameter 1 inch, which you have to remember, bolt with diameter 1 inch and above should always have coarse threads. So usually it is preferable to have coarse threads when the bolt diameter is 1 inch and above. Another one term is coming. Thread galling is less likely to occur in coarse pitch bolts as compared to fine threads. So what is galling? Galling means it's an adhesive wear which occur due to movement of component and often lead to stock knots. If a knot is screwed up, over the bolts, okay. So sometimes what happen? The adhesive wear, okay. Adhesive wear means it, it's stock, okay. When you rotate the knot over the bolt, sometimes it's stock, but this stock happened more in fine grades compared to the coarse grade. So that is called thread galling. Stock of the bolt due to adhesive wear is called galling. So the thread galling is less likely to occur in coarse pitch bolts as compared with the fine bolts, because fine threading requires more and more turns per inch, which generate more friction. Fine threads usually makes more turns per inch because the thread TPI is more in fine compared to TPI of coarse. That's why you make more turn. When you make more turn, it generates more friction. When you make more friction, then it is adhesive to the wear. If it is adhesive to the wear, most of the time it leads to stock knots. Okay, that is called galling. So excess friction dramatically increase the chance of galling in the fasteners. So this is one of the coarse thread advantage over fine thread. So here I have mentioned some of the coarse thread and fine thread UNC and UNF comparison. You can see usually the tensile strength of the fine thread is higher than the coarse thread. Take an example, size 5/16 inch. If the tensile strength is 0.0524, whereas the coarse fine thread is 0.0580. So this is another one advantage of fine thread over coarse thread. Before the slides, we are just reading the advantage of coarse thread over fine thread, but here the tensile strength is always higher of fine thread over the coarse thread. Okay, that we already read in the past 2-3 slides. Why? Because there are more TPI. More TPI, it can hold more stress. Okay. So the tensile stress in fine thread is always higher than the coarse threads. Fine pitch bolts resist self-loosening under vibration or shock and resist stress corrosion crack. It is better than coarse pitch threads. So where there is stress corrosion crack chance, where there is stress corrosion uh, crack chance, what you have to do, you have to find out fine pitch bolts. Okay, you have to find out UNF, not UNC. UNF, Unified National Fine Threads. So fine pitch bolts resist self-loosening under vibration. Self-loosening will never happen. In a coarse thread, the self-loosening will happen, but in fine thread, the self-loosening will not happen and resist stress corrosion crack. It is better than coarse pitch threads. So fine threads are more susceptible to galling than coarse. Okay, so we redid that one. They need longer thread engagement and more prone to damage and thread fouling. This already we have covered. Fine threads are used when fine adjustment are required because fine pitch fasteners have a small lead. Lead, when we say lead is like one thread. It's past area. Okay, if you see from pitch area, pitch area in fine thread is less. In coarse thread, the pitch area is higher. So that is called lead. We call it lead. So most industrial application coarse threads are generally better than fine threads. So usually they prefer coarse threads over fine threads. Depend upon application, each one has advantage over other. So already we read the advantage and disadvantage, pros and cons of fine thread and coarse threads. Friends, hope you like the videos. Okay, if you like the video, please so comment, like, and subscribe to this channel and share with your friends. And please subscribe to this channel if you are new to this channel in order to grow this channel. Thank you very much.